Hi everyone, welcome to Franka's Fab Family. And this week we are going to focus on techniques and strategies to build self-esteem in our children, build up self-worth in our children. But today we're going to focus primarily on father-to-daughter relationships, the importance of having a successful father-to-daughter relationship, and especially in the Black community. And I have to say that because they're my people, and we unfortunately have a big gap as it relates to parental fathers in the home, or at least fathers having a decent and adequate relationship with their children, and even more so with their daughters, because sons will get a lot of what they need from having a mother, so they will have a different developmental advantage, but they will also have a gap if their father was not there. But today we are looking at father to daughter relationship, and how you are father, whether you're with the mom, whether you're living in the house or not, you are father of a daughter. These are some things that you can do to help develop your child's self-esteem. And why is this important? This is so important because so many girls and so many young adults and so many women are taken advantage of unnecessarily just because they don't know their self-value. They don't know their self-worth. And I speak from this very personally, and from a lot of the women in my family as well. You're talking about hard-working, beautiful women, can cook, clean, do all the stuff around the house, from paint, lay tiles, and I mean really put in like an adequate amount of skills and contribution to any relationship, but heavily taken advantage of by men who just saw sucker women and women who did not know and understand their value, right? So father to daughters, here are some things that you can do for your daughters from as early as possible. And I find that a lot of people, the way they dolly, we call it dolly up in the Caribbean, or pamper little babies, but then they slowly dwindle away from that love and affection as the child begins to grow. Or if, again, they separate from the mom, or they they move out of the house. I want you fathers to understand how important it is for a little girl to have a safe male in her life. I know, not having a father in my life, I didn't really dwell on it, and it wasn't until later on in life that I realized, wait a minute here, I did have a developmental gap. There is a need. And as I continued to meet successful fathers that had daughters, I really realized how I could have learned a lot of these lessons much earlier on in life. So here are some of the strategies to use a father. So if you as a father have a little girl, that you have a daughter, here are some things that you need to do on a daily basis. Daily. Every single day you speak to or you see this little girl, you need to do some of these things for her life, for her future life. 1, fathers, you need to give your daughters affirmations. On a daily basis, you need to tell your daughter how you feel about her in a positive way. You need to tell her that she's beautiful. For whatever reason, women in society, in every single society, our physical appearance seem to mean a whole lot to men, right? They mean a lot. They mean a lot to us too, but we are so guided by how society sees us or how our mate sees us that many times that we are abused just because we don't know that we're beautiful. Imagine that. You can have a second or third eye, you can have like the biggest, weirdest features or whatever you want to call it, or most out of the norm body or whatever. But there is nothing like a girl that knows she is beautiful. And the reason why it is so important for a father to tell his daughter that she is beautiful in her own skin. It is so critical that a father tells his daughter, baby, you are beautiful. You are gorgeous. Daddy loves you. You are amazing. I love your hair, especially with Black little girls. The complexion in which we come in. When your father is happy to tell you, I love your dark chocolate skin. I love your light caramel skin. I love all the browns and the shades in between. What that does to a little girl is tell her that she has value. And if the person, the adult in my life, who is treating me kindly, who is my first example of a male interaction, is treating me kindly and telling me I am beautiful, when she gets older, no one on the outside world can take that away from her. It is so important. It is so critical. I have met, and I'm telling you, including myself, beautiful, beautiful women that were taken advantage of. And I mean beautiful and smart. I don't even mean just, physically beautiful. Beautiful, smart, responsible, outgoing, all of that stuff. But were severely taken advantage of in life because they did not even at least value the body that they were born into. Do you know that a girl with a high self-esteem, especially built up from her father, are less likely to be promiscuous? She's less likely to sleep around because she's not searching for a man that loves her. So when a man comes today and say, you look so good, she's not hopping into bed with him tomorrow because she knows that that is only one of many of her worth and value. And fathers play a strong, significant part in building that up. Now, another thing is, you have to praise her. Baby, you're so strong. You could do it. You're so good. Let's go. You're so fast. Boy, you have to praise your little girls. Women, especially black women again, for whatever reason, and we know many of the reasons in societies, we have been able to become strong and outgoing and all of that. What about our tender side? Do you know a father can help build up the strength and the tender side of a woman? Of a young girl, but it will transfer into womanhood. What happens is that a father in a young girl's life has the opportunity to safely love her, to safely protect her, without violating her sexually, because that's what happens in adult life. When you get into a relationship, more than likely you're going to have more, intimate or sexual relationships with these men. But if you don't have the foundation of enough self-worth and value within yourself, a man more than likely has a much greater opportunity to abuse you emotionally, physically, psychologically, sexually. A male in a young girl's life can play such a critical role in her self-esteem and her understanding her position as a woman in life. We will talk later on in the week as to mother to daughter, but this is father to daughter. Additionally, a man gets to help train his daughter on things to accept and not to accept because he knows the tricks of men. I remember when I first came up here about 6 or 7 years ago, I went out on my first date, right? I went out on my first date and I had a friend of mine in New York. He has 3 girls and I like to wear dresses. I love dresses. I love being girly and all of that. And he said to me, don't wear a dress. And I was like, why not? And he said, because you don't know who these people are. Me and my naivety coming from the islands, I'm thinking, but we're adults. I'm an adult. He's supposed to be an adult. Thank God I wore pants. We went to some sushi place, and at the end of the day, when he saw that I wasn't going home with him, before he left me, he pinched me down there. He grabbed me. I was dumbfounded. I didn't slap him. I didn't curse. I was just shocked. And that was the first time in my life that I understood how a woman can be paralyzed when violated and not prepared when violated. I quickly got away from him. I remember driving home. I had already surveyed where I was going and all of that. But when I went back home, I called my friend and I told him. And he said to me, no. The first thing when you see a guy is getting too handsy on you is that you have to tell him, keep your hands to yourself. Every male knows when a woman tells him that, keep your hands to yourself, what that means. And I had never even heard that. And I was like 42 at the time. Imagine that. Imagine that. He then went on to tell me a whole bunch of other things that I had never been told, because clearly my mother didn't know, my sister didn't know, and I only had like 2 real relationships. So it was like I was not prepared. Those few couple examples when I first came to America, it made me shut down this whole dating thing. And it was why? Because I said, here I am as an adult. I had 3 college degrees, and I did not understand the violations that men can give to us because we were not prepared. But speaking with a male friend now that is schooling me, I mean literally schooling me, I said, oh my gosh. So now I started asking all the men in my life, or at least men that I was having conversation with or family members with, I started asking advice like, what happens when this happened? What happens when this happened? Because now I'm doing my research to understand. Because here I am thinking, as an adult, going out with another adult, I did not expect to be violated like that. You understand? I did not expect for someone to actually touch me down there like that with like, this is normal behavior to him. So as a father, not only was he able to school me, but he was able to show me and tell me things that he's telling his 3 daughters. So that blew my mind. So now that I have filled in many of those gaps because I have a young daughter, so it's like, oh no, I'm not going to watch you go through a lot of these ignorant behaviors or these challenges just because of ignorance. I will learn and I will teach. So I want you fathers out there to know that you play a part in making sure that your daughters are not abused by men later on in life just by teaching them the ugly of men. I did a show in the month of January about beating your girls. You as a father have to tell your daughter no man is supposed to hit her. No boyfriend is supposed to hit her. You can't do that if you're beating the mother at home. You cannot. And that's why it's so critical that we take this role of parenting so seriously. A father has the first opportunity to ground his daughter in her femininity as it relates to her relationships with men. He gets to ground her in understanding what are the tricks and the traps that the men will come with that she wouldn't even know. A lot of the things I found out, I had no idea, like no idea. And I was already an adult. I was married for 15 years. So until I became single again, that wasn't information I was going to try to find out. I knew what I went through. But now that I've entered the new single arena, I had to realize how uninformed I really, really was. And because I was so informed was a result of why I stayed in an abusive relationship for so long. We must build up our daughters, and I'm telling you, men, you have an opportunity to help the little girls in your life. And even if you don't have a daughter, let's say you have a niece, you have a little sister, you have a little female cousin. Let us start being our brother's keeper, our sister's keeper, by taking on the responsibility and stopping our loved ones from going through these same disastrous situations that we know and we know all too well. Because from a male's perspective, you will get to speak from a perspective that a woman may never know unless she was taught, because we're just not men. We're not in the body of a man. No matter how much we want to study men or learn men or do, I'm not a man. I can only learn the traits and the skills, but what is going on inside of y'all and how y'all function and think and reason and all of that because of the testosterone level and just because of y'all makeup, it is critical, my people, that you men that have daughters, teach your daughters. Build them up to understand that they are valued, they are special. You see these golden treasures that we have here? Let your daughters know that not every man decides and needs to touch, taste, smell it. Tell them that. And then when I get to women to daughters, they'll get that lesson as well. But it's so important that a man grounds his daughter in understanding how special and delicate that she is. Loving her unconditionally without ever violating her. So when she grows up, she can choose wiser. She can see the traps before they even come. She can see them when they come as well and be able to walk away. Men can teach their daughters how to walk away from a bad situation. You don't give a man another chance after certain things. When you meet a new boy and he wants to have sex with you, a new guy, and he wants to have sex with you, and he don't want to put on a condom, a father telling his daughter, that's it, you get up and you leave. You know why? Because when you get pregnant, he will leave you right there with that child. The rest of your life has been affected. Fathers can help teach their daughters to be responsible for their bodies, not be easily manipulated by people who want to come into their life and just cause havoc. So fathers out there, I want to tell you that I appreciate you. I want to tell you that you fathers that take the time to be in your daughter's life and tell them that they're beautiful, tell them that they're strong, tell them that they are a treasure to win. I want to ask you fathers to please, please, on a daily basis, build up those little girls in your life. They need it. And if you know that you as a man is doing things that you would want to kill another man for if he did it to your daughter, learn that lesson and learn it quick. Stop what you're doing. Because you will hate for your karma to come back on your daughter when you just decide you don't want to learn. I've seen that happen many times. Men that run through women, unfortunately, many of their daughters get run through because you have to learn the lesson. We have to learn these lessons. Let us take our lessons seriously and let us teach and develop our children better than what we were given. We know, we can see it in society today. Women now are sleeping with men for a juice, a glass of wine, a dinner, and men are actually believing that they deserve to get all this goodness for what, a meal? That's all I'm worth? You ain't even trying to wait a week, 2 weeks, 3 months? You done had sex already, you can give it to me. No. Nope. A man, a father, can let a daughter understand how special her body is. You know that whole way of men be like, they'll do anything for some? Let women understand, let girls understand that we are a prize to win. Men are a prize to win too, the good ones anyway. But we have more or can have more control over ourselves sexually many times than men do. So therefore, we don't have to be run through and have people do all kind of things to us. And a man, a decent father in any young girl's life can play that critical role in helping to build her self-esteem, her self-worth, by telling her daily she's beautiful, she's smart, you can do it, you can do anything you want to do. Don't let these boys come and tell you this, tell you that. Warn them about the pitfalls of the other gender because you are that other gender. Tell your daughter, do not allow boys to use her body for their own pleasures. Tell your daughter that no man is supposed to meet her and beat her in the name of love. Girls are less likely to be abused by men when they have had a father or a male figure in their life that have just said simple things like, baby, you are beautiful. The world is a better place because you are in it. Right? So, fathers, let me encourage you. Take charge. You have a little baby girl at home, take charge. Start warning her from as young as possible and helping to build her up and let her know without a shadow of a doubt, I am in your corner always. Once I'm on this planet, you got me. I'm one male that will be ride or die for you. But again, you fathers out there doing madness, those words fall on deaf ears if you are doing the exact same things you're trying to warn her from. If she's watching you do those things to her mother or to other women, it's going to fall on deaf ears. So we as parents have to really be more responsible and accountable for the things that we're saying and the walk we're trying to portray. I always like to tell people, it's better to become that great person than to pretend to be a great person. Right? I am Franka Potter. Join me tomorrow because I'm going to talk to you guys on mother-son's relationship. That's one of my favorite ones. See you tomorrow.